Hi everyone, Science Librarian Crystal Boyce here, ready to talk to you about how you present research to the world. In all likelihood, after this semester, you'll never take a second look at the public service announcement you make as part of your coursework. As regrettable as that may be, what you will take with you are the skills you used to create it and the questions you asked along the way. Having read Chapter 7 of the SUNY Infolit text, you know that you are a creator of information. The papers you write for courses are just a small sample of your creations, however. The public service announcement you create for this course and the accompanying wiki are examples of means by which information is shared or presented with a specific audience. Having read Chapter 8 of the SUNY Infolit text, you know that images are used to communicate a wide variety of ideas and concepts. If you've ever looked at a PSA from your doctor's office, you'll note it probably had some graphic elements as well as written elements. Those graphic elements could be stylized text, pictures, drawings, or logos. Each of those graphic elements communicates something without saying a word. For example, what is a logo? An official endorsement from a specific group or organization. But do some logos carry more power than others? If you were creating a PSA about the flu, would you want to include a picture or drawing of a child crying or of a child smiling? Does one subconsciously convey a negative or positive message? If you think about things even more, remembering that culture plays a part in science literacy, do you include diverse images of people, or do you try to identify your target audience and include images from that group? If you know, for example, that your PSA will be displayed in a free clinic which primarily serves Hispanic populations, would you want your characters to be all white? Why would you think that would matter? Since we're thinking critically about what images to include in our PSA and wiki, since images are powerful ways to communicate, we also need to consider whether we have a right to use an image. Do you typically do a Google image search, find whatever works best for your purposes, and copy-paste it into your paper? This approach works well enough in academic settings where your work isn't likely to be shared and because you're covered by fair use laws, but what if you were making a real PSA and entry on a public website? You'd need to have permission to use all the images. Do you think it's realistic for you to contact every copyright holder and get permission to use their stuff? Probably not, which is okay because there are a number of sites where you can get free images as well as those where you can purchase the rights to use images. Think also about differences in what can be communicated in a PSA versus a website entry. A PSA is static, easily reproduced, and can be handed out to anyone within reach, but you have to limit what you're trying to communicate as you have a limited amount of space. You have to get the messages across quickly and clearly. A website entry, on the other hand, can only be accessed by those with the internet, but it can be dynamic, linked to other websites, and can also include audio and video features. You can include more content because you have more space, but you have to consider that not everyone you serve would see it. How else do you present your work or synthesize the work of others? In this class, you'll be giving an oral presentation at the end of the semester. Think about how you might communicate with the audience of your classmates and teachers. Do you use different language than you might in a PSA? Are there different assumptions you can make about your audiences in different situations? In a clinical setting, you'll be asked to speak to patients, families, and other healthcare workers. Do you think you'll use different mannerisms and language with those different groups? If you work in pediatrics, do you think songs are a good way to communicate with your patients? Whenever you approach any project, you have to balance the needs of your audience with the need to communicate something. I've just touched on a few of the ways presentation venues and visual literacy will matter in your life as a healthcare professional. Throughout this semester, you'll be learning more skills to help you tie everything together, which includes a short quiz in Moodle on your reading and this video. Complete the quiz by midnight on January 18th. Let Dr. Cozier know if you have any questions.